Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Today we are joined by Scott Brendamore for Aetna and Leslie Eisler from Humana to discuss their 2021 products. We're going to start with Aetna at 9 a.m. and then we'll move on to Humana at 10 a.m. with a 5-minute break in between both presentations. I'm going to start with a little housekeeping. Your phones will be muted throughout the webinar. If you have questions, you can type it into the question box. We will have a short Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you don't already know, my name is Nelson Culp, and I'm the Director of Employee Benefits at Cornerstone. I'm joined by my colleague, Shelley Brownell, the Senior Director of Employee Benefits, who will be taking over for the Humana presentation later. Our information is right there on the screen if you would like to contact us. Also, give us a follow on social media. We post industry and Cornerstone updates and information. Go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube to give us a follow. As we inch closer to the fourth quarter, I would like to highlight some of Cornerstone's added value programs that we have exclusive access to as a Cornerstone broker. Autopilot is a compensation-based client referral program that is perfect for managing client overflow during the enrollment season or any time throughout the year, especially when it falls out of your business scope. With Autopilot, our talented team takes care of your clients' health insurance needs for individual and family coverage, employee benefits, or Medicare solutions. Contact us for more information. Cornerstone Succession Planning Program helps you arrange a strategy to provide your beneficiaries with income along with a peace of mind in the event of your unexpected death or disability. This includes drafting communications to your client base in the event of your death or disability, preparing your business and beneficiaries with a financial plan, conducting annual reviews to audit your succession plan, and make any necessary changes. Contact us for more information.
Folks, we are going to move right into Humana, and although you may not know them intimately throughout the state, we're going to start with Specialty, which is a statewide product, and they have a lot of great information for you and a way for you to win. So you'll want to stay tuned with us while we get Leslie's presentation up and running so you can hear more information about that at the start. Perfect. So Leslie Eisler is probably, yes, we can, is one of the more tenured representatives with Humana down here in Cincinnati, and she is going to share, as I mentioned, the ancillary updates as well as the product updates that may be more prevalent in Southwest Ohio. So Leslie, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for your time this morning. And as Shelley said, I put the ancillary updates first for anybody who may not be in the medical market, but the ancillary updates are the same throughout the whole state, and no matter where you're located, whether you work with my team or Joe Buxka's team, these updates for the ancillary lines will all be applicable. So here's the agenda. We're first going to go talk about Humana Dental and some things you may or may not know about Humana Dental. And we're going to move on to Humana Vision. Just a reminder about our EAP program, On Hand, and then Go 365 updates. So jumping right into dental, I always find I like statistics related to different lines of coverage. And these are great ones, especially with periodontal disease. So 47% of the population has periodontal disease, and that is actually linked to heart disease. And because of that, people who do not see a dentist on a regular basis have over $2,000 higher claims costs than those who receive dental care. And productivity lost at work. 164 million hours of work are lost due to oral health problems. If somebody having a sore tooth, somebody having to run to the dentist a couple of times to get services. So these are real problems, and good oral health definitely linked to good overall health of your body. Humana Dental, We've been in business for over 50 years selling dental lines. The number that I like to point out is 2.8 million dental members. In the greater Cincinnati area, a lot of people think of us as medical. I know on the outskirts it's only ancillary, so you're definitely familiar with the ancillary and specialty lines, but 2.8 million dental members. We definitely take our products and we want to focus on the well-being of our members, so we add a lot of different things that have to do with wellness, have to do with keeping people healthy and their whole body healthy. The network is unlimited. We'll talk a little bit about that. Or I'm sorry, the network is nationwide. And then we've made some recent updates that we'll get into more detail, such as our extended maximum 4 perio cleanings, 3 regular, and oral cancer screenings. Again, we'll get into more details on those. This slide just depicts the role that dental plays in wellness. And it's amazing, as I talked about, periodontal disease and infection in your mouth can actually lead to heart disease and issues with your heart. But there are a lot of different areas of your body where dental and oral health actually play a role in their wellness, and this just shows a few of those. So Humana, what we want to do with our dental, and you'll see this repeated with vision, we want to make coverage affordable. You know, not everybody has an unlimited budget. Most people don't. So when you're looking at affordable for employers, affordable for employees, we all have a lot of different coverages. So broad coverage to fit everyone's need. Maybe you just want a preventive plus plan and you want to have mostly preventive care covered. Or maybe you want an unlimited maximum because you know you have high dental utilization. We want to make sure we have coverage for everyone. Again, the well-being part, well-being is part of our DNA. It's part of everything we do, whether we're talking about medical, dental, vision. Improving the well-being of our members is definitely top on the list. And then encouraging utilization. We want people to go and get their exams every year. We want those things that may be lingering to be caught early. So definitely encouraging utilization helps with that. And these are just some of the things that we're going to cover in detail. Extended annual maximum, the cleanings that we cover. We have a rider where you can waive preventive services from the annual maximum. Talk about perio and endo as independent options, and implant coverage. We have the max for you, lots of maxes in there. So we do have an unlimited max. We're not going to get into a ton of detail on our unlimited max, but it is just what it states. There is no annual maximum benefit. Something to think about with the unlimited max is as long as you have 10 or more enrolled, you can offer dental in a situation. So you may have a smaller employer, 10, 15 employees enrolled in the dental plan, and maybe the owner is looking for a very rich plan. You can offer an unlimited max with another plan, so keep that in mind. The extended annual maximum, again, we'll get into more detail on that. That's the additional 30% once you've hit your annual max. And then the waive preventive service rider. Go ahead and get into the waive preventive service from deductible and annual max. This is a rider that does just what it says. It waives preventive services from the annual maximum. So it holds down premium cost. If you add this, we'll talk a little bit about how you can maybe do a little changing around of the annual max in order to save money. So this rider costs about 50 cents on a single premium, and it's estimated that a member spends about $370 in routine exams and x-rays. That's not even taking into consideration an example I have later on where if somebody does need the 4 perio exams, that's worth about another $500. So depending on how much you use different preventive services, it can save you anywhere from $370 on up in preventive services just by adding this rider. The rider is available on traditional preferred, PPO, and preventive plus groups with 2 or more enrolled. The extended annual maximum. This is the benefit. This is unlike what anybody has in the industry. It's available as soon as somebody hits their annual maximum. And what Humana does is we will pay 30% coinsurance after the annual maximum. What's great too is there are certain states where in order to be able to get the discounted amount from the provider in the network, you do have to still have coverage in place. And once you hit the annual max, some companies, you can no longer get the discounted amount. But with Humana, because we have the extended annual maximum and we're always paying 30% coinsurance, you will always be considered under contract. And so it can save money if you're using an in-network provider too. The 30% coinsurance extended annual max is very simple. Members don't have to do anything. They just basically go to their dentist, the claim is filed. Once they hit that the annual maximum, then that 30% coinsurance would take effect. And at the bottom here, an advantage, no need to delay care. We see quite frequently where somebody might need a crown, different services, and they really can't afford the additional amount over their annual maximum. So they put off the services and they don't get it done. This definitely helps with financial responsibility of the member. Again, this is available on traditional, preferred, and PPO plans with 2 or more enrolled. It's standard. It's not a rider, so it's automatically included. This is just a comparison. I hear a lot of times people say, well, the plan has rollover. And back many, many years ago, before I was at Humana, so more than 23 years ago, I had a plan with rollover, and I always thought, well, I don't, I'm blessed. I go for my routine checkups, but generally don't need the rollover. So, sometimes you don't get the benefit of rollover. With extended max, all members get extended max. The coverage is immediate. It's unlimited. And there's no qualification criteria. So I always like to look at it as with unlimited or extended max, you get to use that benefit when you need it, not roll it over. So rollovers, if you don't use the benefit, you can use it into the next year. The extended max is for people who are using their benefit and need that additional coverage right away. Here's just an example of the extended max. So if a bill charge is $1,000 and they're seeing an in-network provider, and the contracted amount is $700, and they have gone over their maximum before this $1,000 charge, we will pay 30% of that $700. So we will go ahead and pay $210 and leave a member responsibility of $490. Whereas with no extended maximum, once you've hit your annual max, there is no benefit. Periodontal coverage. I have an example in here that's near and dear to my heart. My husband has a periodontal disease, and so he's like half of the Americans almost in the country that suffer from periodontal disease. Most contracts only cover 4 perio cleanings per year, but the recommended treatment is 4. My husband has to go 4 times a year to get his teeth cleaned. And so members think, do I go or do I not go? A lot of times once you've started into periodontal cleanings, some dentists will only bill perio cleanings. They won't bill 2 perio and 2 regular exams. They'll only bill perio. And so our contract covers 4 perio cleanings per year, and they're considered a type 1 or a preventive service. So the rider we talked about where you can waive preventive care from the annual max, these 4 perio cleanings would fall under that. Again, a strong connection to overall wellness and well-being with periodontal coverage. Now we're going to talk about how you can save your employer's premium. And I know dental, when you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, well, it's dental, but saving 10% off of a dental plan, if you have a larger size case, can make a big difference to the employer and the employee. So there's things that you can do, such as you can split up perio and endo coverage. So if you move the endodontics to major, that can save you about 3.5% to 4% by doing that. If you put in that waive preventive care rider, that'll cost you 3%. But then what we recommend you do is if somebody has a $1,500 maximum annual max, you can take that down to $1,000, which will save you 10%. So you're paying a little bit for the rider, 2 or 3%, but you're saving 10% by taking that annual max from $1,500 to $1,000. And then again, the extended annual maximum, that 30% benefit, is on all of our plans standardly. Here's an example, true life example. So Jim, whose last name might be Eisler, he has periodontal disease and requires 4 perio cleanings per year. In addition, Jim requires gum grafting surgery in each of his 4 quadrants, and you do have to wait 6 to 9 months to have each quadrant completed. Not to get in too much detail, but they take the skin off the roof of your mouth, and then they put it in, they sew it to the sides of your gums to keep your teeth in stable. So you have to have those so many months apart, so he needs 4 of those. And this is just an example of how it can be paid with different carriers. So if you look at the first example, this is, carrier X, say, the 180/50 plan, $50 deductible, and a $1,500 maximum. So the expenses, and this is a real figure, $4,000 for the first gum grafting surgery, and we'll just do simple math and not include the deductible in these calculations, but know that that's there. So the first gum grafting surgery right away in the year is $4,000. And then he has 4 perio cleanings, which are about $500 altogether, and then annual x-rays, which run $100. So the cost summary with carrier X would be the surgery would be $4,000, and then you subtract out the $1,500 annual max because you're going to hit that right away. And the member responsibility would be $2,500. And because you've already hit the annual maximum, the perio cleanings and the x-rays would also be the member's responsibility. So $500 for those cleanings and $100 for the x-rays, which leaves the out-of-pocket with carrier X of $3,100 for Jim. Keep in mind, some people may not get the additional services, such as the perio cleaning and the x-rays, which is not good for overall health and well-being and claims cost. So in this situation, $3,100. So the Humana plan, we're just going to tweak this a little bit. We're still going to have a 180/50 plan, with a $50 deductible still. We're going to take the annual maximum, though, down to $1,000. So that's going to save us 10% in premium. We have the extended annual maximum, which is a standard benefit, and we're going to add the WAVE preventive service rider, which would be about 50 cents or maybe 2%. So in premiums up at the top, we're saving an overall right now about 8%. He has the same expenses, the $4,000 for the surgery, $500 for the perio cleanings, $100 for the x-rays. But here's the cost summary with the Humana plan. So his surgery is $4,000, and he has a $1,000 annual maximum. So $500 less than the other plan. Once we subtract out that annual maximum, that leaves $3,000 for the surgery. Humana is going to pay 30% of that, so $900 for the extended annual maximum, again, which is standard. So that leaves a responsibility of $2,100 for Jim. And then we have the WAVE preventive service rider, so the perio cleanings are covered under preventive services at 100%, and it does not come from the annual max. And so are the x-rays, so those are both covered. So in the situation with Jim having Humana, it's $2,100 out of his pocket versus $3,100 with the other carrier, even though we did take that annual maximum down by $500. Okay. So here's just an example using Franklin County of a group in different premium dollars. So the ones that I've highlighted in dark pink, if you look at those, just a couple things that are different. We took the deductible from $25 to $50 in this situation, which saves, I believe that's about 10%. We took the $1,500 annual maximum and we made it $1,000, but we added the WAVE preventive care rider. And then there's orthodontic coverage. Everything else we kept the same. You can see the coverage or the premium for a single is $26.19 versus $23.57. So again, if you're thinking about it and you're trying to be consultative, or maybe you have a prospect and you're trying to show them that you think differently than the current agent, this is a great way to look at their dental benefit and to make just some subtle tweaks to show them that they can actually, be happy to share examples. I know Joe up north would be happy to share examples of where it will actually cost their members less. Something to keep in mind also, if you look at the current plan, it's a voluntary plan. And with Humana, we do not look at employer contribution when we're determining if a plan is employer sponsored or voluntary, but we look at participation. So in a lot of situations, an employer may not have the funds, especially small employers, to contribute to the dental plan, but they have great participation because they really talk about the importance of oral health. So in this situation, this group got employer-sponsored rates, which saved them about 10% because they had good participation, and good meaning above 50%. If a group is close to having 50% participation but not quite there, there are things we can do, such as adding a Preventive Plus plan to one of our traditional preferred plans. And as long as we get 40% participation, then we can consider that employer-sponsored. So, talk to me or Tyson or Joe. Talk to your team about how we can possibly save you some money on dental plans if you're not quite sure where to go with a particular employer group. One thing we're doing for our dentists, COVID-19 related, and I'm always proud of the different things we do just to make sure we're helping the community, is we've been doing this since maybe March or April. So as you can see, it ends September 30th. We've been paying an additional $7 per Humana member claim to participating dentists. So once a claim comes in, and it's to help pay for their personal protective equipment and possibly the time where they weren't able to see patients. So we're just giving them an extra $7 through the end of September. All right, on to vision. More vision statistics, just like dental. 65% of Americans report experiencing symptoms of digital eye strain. We're always on computers, we're on our smartphones, we always have something in front of us. I have a Kindle I read all the time, so always digital apparatuses in front of us, unfortunately, probably more so than we should. So 65% of Americans are experiencing eye strain. Over 188 million adult Americans wear some form of corrective vision. 26%, that's pretty high. Over 87% of Americans with vision benefits schedule eye exams each year, whereas only 60% of those without vision benefits schedule eye exams. So 20% difference between whether you have insurance or whether you don't on people scheduling routine eye exams. For every dollar invested in vision exams, employers save about $1.27 every 2 years in medical costs. So again, we're affecting medical by the vision benefit and by the dental benefit. So a lot of times people think, oh, it's just dental, or it's just vision, but it definitely affects the medical costs and premiums. And again, lost productivity, we always have to look at lost productivity with the different lines of coverage, and estimated $8 billion annually because of reduced productivity because of issues with the eyes or headaches or that digital eye strain that we talked about. So again, we've been selling vision for a long, long time. We have over 1.9 million commercial vision members. So that's the thing I wanted to point out here. Very, very large network. We'll talk about a little bit more details, and definitely upfront, no hidden charge pricing, very easy to understand. As with dental, vision is connected to wellness, and you can see just a few things that can be detected. I had a friend whose husband was having some issues with his sight, and he went to his eye doctor and ended up, she said, you really need to go see your family doctor. And he had been diagnosed with diabetes, and he had no idea that he had diabetes, but it was found in his eye exam. Blood pressure, brain tumor, stroke, preeclampsia for pregnant women, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, all things that are connected to health vision. Same with dental. Vision is the same way. We want to make it affordable, have lots of different coverage options. Think about well-being, and I'll talk about a couple benefits that are a little bit different on improving and keeping people well and encouraging utilization. So we have several riders that are available with the vision plan. It's very affordable. There's many different plan options, broad network access. We have an Exam Plus, which just covers an exam and a couple of other things. So it's a very low costing option, full coverage, and then for groups that may have an eye exam included in their medical plan for whatever reason, sometimes self-funded clients or different plans may have an eye exam included, and you can get a material-only benefit. We have, again, the exam coverage only. We have a 100 plan, a 130, a 150. That's a little bit newer. That's why there's a star there. A 160 and a 200 plan. And then we also have a 130 and a 160 material-only plan. So vision spreadsheeting. I see spreadsheeting all the time, and it was funny. I had somebody ask about lenticular lenses, and Mike Guerin, who is our vision product specialist, will tell you that he has a friend that runs a lab. I think it's in Florida, and they do over 1 million scripts a year, and he said that less than 1% are for lenticular lenses. So people seldom realize bifocals, trifocals, lenticular lenses. Every company has exam copays, material copays, frame allowances, contact lens allowances. But at the bottom, I put a couple things that you should probably think about if you're doing a spreadsheet. Retinal image. So I get a retinal image every year. Our plan standardly covers a retinal image up to $39. Wing Eye Care charges, I believe they charge me $35. So that standard coverage is more than enough to pay for it. We do have a rider where you can have a retinal image covered at any cost, but I have not found that generally they're over $39. So I don't see the need for that rider and to pay extra for the rider. But a retinal image, if you haven't had one, and I've had one every year for like since like 2000 and for the last 6 or 7 years. And a retinal image is a snapshot of your eye, and the eye doctor, optometrist will put it on the computer screen and will actually show you a picture of your eyeball. And they look at your macula and they look at the veins. They can tell, I've asked, like, what do you look at on this? They can tell if you have high blood pressure. They can tell if you're having allergy issues. They look at the veins in your eyes. And if they're expanded, that can be a sign of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all kinds of stuff. When I went back in 2018, I actually had freckles that they saw in my left eye. And clearly dilation is the best thing for your eye, but dilation is a snapshot of your eye then, and your optometrist isn't going to necessarily remember what your eye looked like last year. So the retinal image is an image they can pull up and they can compare year over year. So when I had those freckles in my eye, now what they do is every year, and I have something called druising, which is little fatty deposits. Every year, now they can pull up the two retinal images, one from the year before and one from the current year, and they can tell if those have changed. So I am a firm believer in a retinal image from my own experience. Also, anti-reflective and premium progressive lenses. A lot of people don't think about these. I have crystal coating and I have a premium progressive lens. We charge copays for those. So many carriers, you can look at this benefit summary and see if they are giving a copay for that, charging a copay, or a lot of carriers just have a 20% discount. And those lenses can be very, very expensive in those add-ons. So I have an example that'll show you the cost of those a little bit later. And then diabetic eye care, again, talking about wellness and what's important to Humana. Talked about the retinal image, which we cover. We also cover 2 of everything, exams, retinal imaging. There's some other services that we cover 2 per year for diabetics because it is so important for diabetics to make sure that they are getting their routine eye care. So we do cover 2 of those. Here's the lens frequency, statistics. So lenses, almost 60% of the time. Bifocals, 5%. Trifocals, less than 1% of the time. And then the progressive lens that we talked about, 33.7%. Of course, the things are going to be more children, younger adults who haven't gotten into that phase where they need a bifocal. That's where that 33.7% progressive lens comes into play. And then anti-reflection. If you look, most people are getting anti-reflective on their glasses. And if you look at the progressive, so we talked about how we have copays for progressive lenses. We also have copays for anti-reflective coatings, and 76% of the people who get progressive lenses get anti-reflective coating. Here's an example of how the vision plan would work. So this is a Vision 160 plan, a $10 copay for an exam, a $10 standard lens copay. Again, a lot of people don't get standard lenses. $160 retail frame allowance, $160 contact lens allowance, and then it's a exam every 12 months and frames every 24 months. So the first example is an employee cost without Humana Vision. So if you just went and you were going to get them on your own, the exam would cost about $70, frames about $225 on average, and then Veralex Comfort, which is a premium progressive lens, that would be $250 is the retail cost, and the Cristal Easy Anti-Reflective, or Critical is what's, Easy Anti-Reflective, I have Cristal, is $125. The cost with the vision plan would be $10 for your exam. The frames would have a cost after your $160 retail frame allowance is $52. The premium progressive $55, and the anti-reflective lens $22. So the cost with the vision plan would be $139, saving the employee a potential $531. Again, some carriers have coverage for those lenses, but they're at a 20% discount. So you want to check that out and make sure as you're trying to determine, is this a good dental plan or vision plan? You know, maybe it's 50 cents less. I always use this example. So if you go and you get a retinal image, $35. I'm going to do some quick math here on my phone while we're chatting. $35 divided by 12. That's $2.91 in a benefit you're getting a month. So I might have somebody say, and I have in the past, oh, well, you know what? Your vision, it's 40 cents higher on the single rate. Well, it might be 40 cents higher on the single rate. So that's times 12, $4.80 more a year. But you're getting a benefit of up to $39 for that retinal image alone. If you go and you get glasses, then you're saving even more money. If you're a diabetic and you're getting 2 of everything, you're saving more money. So just because the vision plan may cost 40 cents more or 50 cents more in a single rate, just in the retinal image benefit, you're getting, if it's a $35 retinal image, you're getting almost $3 in benefits. So keep that in mind. Our vision network, it's a national network. 99% of the claims that come in are processed from in-network providers. You can see some of the providers listed below. So we do have some online providers. We do have people say, oh, do you have any online providers? We do have some online providers. But we have over 75,000 vision providers nationwide. What I love, though, is 52,000 are independent. So we do have retail stores, Target, Lens Crafters, Pearl. Those are in the network, but we also have 52,000 independent optometrists that people can go to for their routine eye exams. And then we're always willing to, there's online interest form and information that we'll follow up on if somebody wants their provider to join a network or if a provider is interested themselves. We're always looking to add to the network. So money, we all don't do this for free, right? I mean, I'm sure you love your job. I like working with everyone, but money is very important. So left is the bundling bonus that we have going on right now. And this bundling bonus will be effective through December 31st. If you bundle Humana Dental or Vision for a group of 2 to 4 enrolled, it's a $250 bonus in addition to the commission you would get paid. And if you do dental, vision, and life, it's $400. If there are 5 enrolled, up to 99, so what we would consider a small group employer, it's $750 bonus for dental and vision and $1,250 for dental, vision, and life. And that's per case. So if you look at moving 10 cases to Humana and there are at least 5 enrolled, that's $7,500. That's a pretty good chunk of change for writing Humana ancillary lines. And then for 1-1, It's actually 1/1 through January 31st, 2021. I know that sounds crazy, already talking about 2021, but just wanted to make you aware that the bonus will be a little bit different. We need at least 5 enrolled, and it'll be $500 for dental and vision and $1,000 for dental, vision, and life. So some good bonus opportunities there. Now, I'm really excited about this. So we've been working with Cornerstone, and we've come up with an agent contest. And this contest will run October, and it's for ancillary lines. So it'll run October 1st. So start thinking about your groups. You can be quoting those now through January 1st effective dates. And what we're going to do is for each line of credit, new, so new dental, new vision, new basic life, or new voluntary life, you will get a credit. And you have to have a minimum of 10 lines or credits to qualify. And for the agent who writes the most amount of ancillary lines with Humana, there will be a $5,000 prize. Second place will be $3,500, and third place will be $1,500. So if you think about that, first place $500, and you think about these bonuses that we talked about, or 5,000, I'm sorry, and you think about these bonuses that we talked about, you could definitely earn some additional money in addition to your standard compensation by writing ancillary lines. Okay, so that was the dental and vision. EAP, just a reminder, a couple things about EAP. We do sell EAP on a standalone basis to employers with 100 or more employees, and we do a phenomenal job of administering our EAP and managing the EAP and making sure people are aware of their resources. We also, in case you don't know, have an EAP app that has resources on it. So if you haven't told your Humana groups about the EAP app, that is available. So you can have them download that. But EAP and work-life services, it's just not about if you're having an issue and you call. Yeah, they'll help you with financial counseling. They'll help find daycares, adult care. Maybe you're having some depression issues and you want to talk to somebody. But they also help. My coworker uses an example. She called the EAP because her daughter, this was back a few years ago, wanted to go see Justin Bieber. And so she didn't have time to go to all the sites and see where she could get tickets, StubHub and Guy on the Corner and Ticketmaster. So the EAP did the legwork for her. And then they just told her, this is where we found the tickets and this is the price range. And then she ordered the tickets. But they'll do that kind of stuff. I had another coworker who was moving and he wanted somebody who would hang his artwork. I don't have that much artwork, but clearly he did. And so he called the EAP work-life services, and the work-life part of it helped him find people in his new area where he was moving that would do that service. So don't just think of it as the EAP. Remember the work-life service part of it. People are available 24 hours a day. It's answered by master level clinicians. There's not really somebody who's going to answer and do an intake. They are actually answered by master level clinicians. And our medical plans have EAP, a telephonic EAP built into them. With COVID, it's even more important. I've read so many articles about the importance of people's EAP programs. So even if your EAP isn't with Humana, if somebody has another carrier, make sure you know if they have an EAP or not, because that's definitely helpful for an employer and their employees. Okay, so we're going to move on to the medical part of the presentation. This stuff has to do with medical. So I'm not sure if you're welcome to stay on, but if you are in an area where you do not sell Humana or market Humana medical plans, then we are finished with the ancillary part of the presentation. So just thought I'd let you know that. So on hand, this is an exciting new health plan that Humana has introduced. And we actually, even before COVID introduced this, I'll get into a little bit of those details, but really it's where you use virtual primary care physician visits through Doctor on Demand. That would be the main way that you see a physician. And not the only way that you can see a physician, but the recommended way if you're going to purchase on hand. This is a little bit dated, but I wanted to make sure I put this on here because it's got a nice overview of on hand. So we've been offering it in Texas and Florida since 2019, before COVID was even in the United States and people started going to more teledoc visits. We started offering this just back a couple months ago, and what it is it's unlimited doctor on demand visits. So there's no charge if somebody goes on their phone or on their computer and sees their doctor on demand primary care physician. There's also an on-hand app that gives you immediate access. You go into that on-hand app and you can make an appointment, or you can get in a queue to see a doctor on demand primary care physician. You can wait to see your own primary care physician, or you do have the option to see different primary care physicians. It's really up to the member. Each member gets a care kit shipped directly to their house at no cost. So I have a relationship with a primary care physician. I go and see them on a regular basis, and I thought, well, how's this going to work? Like, my doctor takes my temperature, they take my blood pressure. So we actually ship a care kit that includes a really nice blood pressure monitor and a thermometer at no additional cost to the members, so that as they're meeting with their doctor on demand primary care physician, he's going to ask what their temperature, or she is going to ask what their temperature is and what their blood pressure is. Common labs and prescriptions are available on this plan with a $5 copay. There's also a concierge team. So the next bullet, in-person preventive care covered in full. So if you do need to see a local physician, OBGYN is a great example. So I need to go and get my preventive care. Maybe I don't have a relationship with a local doctor, or maybe I have seen my doctor on demand primary care physician, and he thinks I need to go see a specialist because maybe my gallbladder needs to come out. So I need to go see a general surgeon. Each on-hand member gets personalized guidance from a concierge team that will help them find a local physician that's in the National Point of Service Network who can help them with whatever the additional care is or the specialty care that they need. So that's a great service for somebody who may use their doctor on demand physician all the time and not be really aware of the physicians that are available in the area. Again, in-person preventive care, we talked about that. We don't recommend that if you have a child under the age of 2 or 3 that you use the doctor on demand primary care physician. We recommend that they would still use a pediatrician. Again, personalized or preventive care is going to be covered at 100%. So you can still go see that physician, immunizations, things like that. There's not going to be a cost for those. Now, if you do go to the pediatrician for a sick visit, I'll have a slide in here that shows some of the costs that would be associated with that, but you can do that. There's the flexibility to add a flexible spending account or an HRA, so the employer can add that if they'd like, and there are a few different maximum out-of-pockets to choose from. So this is a comparison. Let me step back. I didn't really say that this is on the level funded premium chassis per se. So it is considered a level funded premium plan, but it's a little bit different. It has a couple differences between on hand and your, I don't want to say old school level funded premium plan, but the one we originally came out with. But it is the same way, where you do have a $15,000 specific. You're going to fund the claims at 110%. So those things all still apply. You're still going to get the same reporting. So you'll get the monthly reporting that's available that shows the premium that they paid in and the claims that we paid out. So that is all still available with on hand, but there are a few differences. So if you look under the LFP 5 to 100, there's unlimited primary care visits digitally through Doctor on Demand or virtually. The maximum out-of-pockets that are available are $2,000, $5,000, and $7,900. Again, the prescriptions we talked about, it's RX5. So Tier 1 and Tier 2 are $5 copays. Tier 3 through 5, The member is going to pay the contracted amount up to the selected maximum out of pocket, so either that $2,000, $5,000, or $7,900. There's also select labs, Quest and LabCorp, where lab services would be $5. All other labs would be, the member would pay the contracted amount, again, to the maximum out of pocket. Preventive care is covered in full. If a member wants to see a PCP or a specialist that is not virtual through Doctor on Demand, they're going to pay the contracted amount up to their maximum out of pocket. So the copays would only apply to those few things that we talked about, or no copay for the virtual care. Couple things that are different, and I want to highlight, Go365 and the telephonic EAP that we talked about are not available with On Hand. So that is a difference between the standard level funded premium plans that we sell and the On Hand level funded premium plans. So no Go365 or no EAP programs. Clinical programs, we still have the base clinical programs included. And again, you can add spending accounts, flexible spending accounts, and HRAs. Email addresses are required. So if a member wants On Hand, they do need an email address. Keep in mind, this can be dual choice. So as long as you have 5 enrolled, we allow a dual choice. And so you can dual choice On Hand with with an NPOS copay plan or an NPOS high deductible health plan. So it's available on a dual choice situation. We talked about most of this. You need care, you can go to your app. You see the Doctor on Demand PCP. If you do need to see a specialist and you're not familiar with any specialists in the area, there is that concierge team who will assist you. So HSAs are not available on hand, because you do have first dollar coverage for the virtual visits, the particular lab work through Quest and LabCorp, and some prescriptions. So you can't do a health savings account, but you can do an HRA or an FSA with On Hand. The HRA, there's a lot of different options. If you have a group who's considering On Hand and you would like to discuss the HRA options, let us know, but you can do a first dollar coverage HRA, you can do a back-end HRA. There are a lot of different options available, so you would just want to reach out to us and we can review those. There is a charge for the flexible spending in HRA, and that is $4 per month. So that's $4 whether you do both of them, or $4 whether you only do one of them, and that would actually show up on your bill. This is just an example of how the care would work. So Mike, 61, a business owner, he had his first visit with his doctor, and here's how it went. So he registered on the app and he received his care kit. Cost nothing. He uses his care kit to take his blood pressure during his primary care visit, and he talks about he's had headache and a little bit of fatigue over the last year. So his doctor orders a series of diagnostic blood tests. So he didn't pay anything for that doctor visit. So he goes to a Quest lab by his house, and he's going to pay a $5 copay for that lab. And then he was notified via his results from his Doctor on Demand PCP, and he prescribed prescription vitamin D to address the fatigue. So he picked that up at a local pharmacy, and he paid $5 for that prescription. And then he had a follow-up visit with his primary care physician. So in that situation, he paid $10 for 2 visits, lab work, and a prescription. It's a pretty darn good deal, whereas if you have a high deductible health plan, this may cost you $250, $300. Even with a copay plan to see a local physician, you may have a $25 or a $30 copay just to see your primary care physician, in addition to the prescription and lab work. So you can see how this could make a big difference financially to the member. Something also to think about as you're talking about On Hand with your members, think about the group and the type of people that may be at that employer. I always look at this as kind of a lifestyle sell too. So there are a lot of people who don't have relationships with primary care physicians, or maybe they're in a line of work where it's really hard. Somebody isn't feeling well to get off the line or get out of the office to go to see their primary care physician, which may be an hour or two. By the time you drive there, you wait in the office, you drive back. So in this situation, the average wait time is less than 5 minutes. So think about the group and what type of employer they are and what type of employees they have and whether this would be a good fit or not. Because if they don't have a relationship with a primary care doctor and they really, they say they don't have a lot of time to go see the primary care physician locally, this may be a great option for them. And the app, these are just a couple screenshots of the app, so you can log into the app. You can see a doctor from the app. You can view your plan details, compare pharmacy costs, and actually monitor the balances in that flexible spending account or that HRA that the employer may have put in place. So that can all be viewed by the app. And then if you need it, I know Shelly's team has the on-hand sales launch kit. There's an agent kit, and this has, if you click on the different, under what to know, the sales positioning and handling objections, there's a downloadable document for you. There's also a brochure. On the next page, there's videos, so you can send somebody a video to see if they might be interested. So this has a lot of useful marketing materials for you as an agent or consultant. Right now with on-hand and level funded premium, we just announced this, and it'll be new to Shelly's team too because I haven't sent out my update yet. It's going out in the next couple days, but we have doubled our subscriber administrative fee credits for employers. So right now, October 1st through December 1st, employers will get a $300 per subscriber administrative fee credit. It has to be enrolled via Launch My Group, which is our platform to enroll employers, which I believe Shelly's team uses on a regular basis. So that has to be the case, but it is a $300 per subscriber credit, and it's paid in the second month. So that's a great deal for employers, big credit they can get there. And that's on hand or level funded premium, either one. Okay, on to Go 365. A lot of you are familiar with Go 365, incentive-based wellness program, where you start at blue status and you work your way up, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. As long as you complete the health assessment, get a biometric screening, or do a verified workout, you're at bronze status, and then you would go up from there. Keep in mind, even with COVID, HealthWorks is our partner who does the majority of our biometric events. As long as you have 12 people that are participating, HealthWorks will go on site for fully insured or level funded groups, and they will do the biometric screenings and do a biometric event. And Roger, who's your consumer experience consultant, said that they are still doing that. Roger can get involved by actually doing like a virtual event on the computer, so where people can call. So HealthWorks could be in person, Roger could be there virtually, and we can still do Go 365 events. So keep that in mind for some of your larger size employers. Earning points, this is just a reminder of all the different areas. I copied and pasted. I know it's very busy here, but they can earn points in education, healthy living, prevention, and fitness. So those are the different areas. There's some COVID modifications that we have made because members couldn't get out to their gyms. I know gyms are open now, but some people still aren't comfortable with going to gyms. So a member can go into their activity part of their app and actually get 10 fitness points by submitting a photo of them in their home gym working out. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier during COVID for them to get those points. For the remainder of 2020, every commercial member has access to complete the stress management course. It's not always available. It depends how you answer your health assessment. You may have a nutrition course or a physical activity course or a stress management course, but everybody has access to this stress management course through the remainder of the year, and they can earn 400 points by taking that course. And that's on the front dashboard when somebody logs into Go 365 via the computer. It's not on the app. And then challenge participation points are doubled through 2020. So members can earn up to 200 points for participating in 2 challenges a month. Generally what happens is you can do 2 challenges and you get 50 points once you've taken steps or you've done steps within that challenge. So we're doubling it to 200 points a month through the remainder of the year, just to help people get their points. And why are the points important? Just a reminder, the points are important because groups that are under 100 eligible that we consider small groups, I'm going to caveat it to say with the exception of the Northern Kentucky Chamber, because they're considered large employers. So small employers, and if you're not sure, you can always reach out and ask us. Small employers get a 7% discount when somebody reaches silver status. So if Leslie Eisler hits silver status, it shows up on my Go365 account, and then on the next billing statement, at the bottom of that statement, it'll have a wellness credit, and it assigns everybody in the group, but it'll show the credit at the bottom of that statement. Once somebody hits gold or platinum status, they receive a 15% discount. So don't forget about those discounts, especially with some of those smaller community-rated groups that they have no way to get a discount besides Go365. Again, level-funded premium groups that are not on hand, straight level-funded premium groups, still can take advantage of the discount. But remember, on hand, they do not get Go365, so these discounts do not apply to on-hand groups. Okay, so just a reminder, in case you're not sure, if you're in the greater Cincinnati area, I'm your agency relationship manager. You can reach out to me. I know you guys have contact with Shelly's team and they do a wonderful job. I'm available. Tyson is your inside executive who works with the Cornerstone team, and Casey Badura is the retention executive. So anytime, we're always here, we're working, we're available if you ever have questions for us. And is there any questions? Is there anything in chat?
Can you hear me, Leslie?
I can hear you.
Okay, so can you expand a little bit on the network for dental, both locally and statewide, as far as in and out of network benefits?
Sure. Yeah, and we're continuing to expand our network in the area. I saw an email actually last week of the dentists that were added in Ohio, and don't quote me, but the number was like 200 or 300 dentists that we just recently added. So we're always looking to add dentists. I will tell you that my dentist, so nationally we have one of the largest networks. Throughout the state we have a large network. I live in Northern Kentucky, and I will tell you that my dentist is not in the network. And I have EOBs that I send out to agents. I have like my personal stuff off there, but I'm willing to send people my EOBs that show that I am not balance billed for any services that I ever get at my non-network provider. So although we do have a very, very large network in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Cleveland, Dayton area, and nationally, dental is easy to go out of network, or easier than medical. You know, medical you wouldn't dare go out of network. But again, my dentist hasn't been in the network ever, and I do not get balance billed. Now, there is the possibility to get balance billed if you do see a provider that's not in the network, and you want to take into consideration the type of plan you're looking at. So I have the choice of a PPO plan or a traditional preferred 180/50, and I take the traditional preferred plan because I know that my dentist is in the network. Also, keep in mind that if you're going to see your dentist for preventive care, which is about 75% of the claims that we see are preventive care claims, if you're going to see your physician, your dentist, and they're not in the network, the chances of being balance billed are small if they're not in the network for preventive. But if you do need to go see a specialist for a root canal or perio work, then you could just select somebody who's in the network, because likely you probably don't have a relationship with one of those specialists like you do with your primary dentist.
Okay, and this one is medical and a little bit more specific, but if someone is a COBRA continuant, are they eligible for the Go365 discounts as well, or is it required to be a full-time active employee? to receive the % discount?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to get back on that. I'm not 100%.
Number of the morning. Okay.
What was that?
Well, Leslie, very much great information this morning on your new products. Don't forget about the specialty contest. Can be very lucrative along with the bundling, as Leslie pointed out. Thanks to Aetna. We appreciate everyone tuning in this morning. We'll get the presentations out. And just a reminder, we have our next Monday webinar featuring Anthem next week, and it is at 9 a.m. So Leslie, thanks. Really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Bye-bye.